Welcome back, everyone. It's another edition of the Scoreboard Sports Podcast. I'm Cameron Clark with Connor Kendall. It's been a bit since we recorded, but it's been a fun week of sports.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy. Everything big or relevant has kind of wrapped up, in the college games at least. So, baseball's getting started, getting into a groove. NHL hockey is kind of getting to a close as well, but it's going.
Yeah, it's wild. It's just kind of a crazy year, crazy time of year for sports. Like, I'm a big baseball fan, so this is perfect time for me. Like, I don't have to worry about basketball or football or hockey or anything getting in the way of my baseball. But it's fun stuff.
No, I get into like grooves where I just fall hard into baseball and just keep up and like just keep on it, and then there'll be like weeks where I'm just like have no interest, and I just get the notifications like, oh, okay, Red Sox lost by 8 runs, woohoo, or
Yeah.
something like that. But I think this year might be different. I think I might be taking more interest into not only the Sox but multiple teams and just the MLB as a whole, I think.
Yeah. Tough couple days for Red Sox. My Angels are doing well, so can't complain.
Well, someone's happy, at least.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, speaking about happy, though, that was not me last night with the Houston-Florida game. Although, our combined bracket for the podcast did pretty good. We had Florida winning it all.
Okay.
But I was rooting for Houston.
I had Florida winning it in my in-depth bracket as well, so I was like, I don't know if I have a dog necessarily in the fight. I would like to think Florida just because I picked them, but at the same time I was like, Houston winning it and having a Big 12 school take it home would be pretty cool. I was listening though, although I was listening to JJ and Alex on the Zone, and they were talking about how, I don't know where they were, but they were talking about how they saw some guy wearing an SEC hoodie, just like the SEC conference, and how a bunch of garbage it is for people to root for just a conference. How he's probably a Tennessee fan and they're mortal enemies with Alabama, and you ain't rooting for Alabama if they're in the championship game. So I'm like, they kind of make a good point in a way, but at the same time, I don't think BYU has any cold-blooded rivalries except Utah in the Big 12. So,
and that's where I feel like it's different. I feel like with the SEC, you have those top dogs, and it's no one likes them. But in the Big 12, you don't really have a team that no one likes other than Utah. I'm not just saying that as a BYU fan. It's been really unfortunate for Utah. They've just kind of become the team that everyone picks on. Which sucks for them, and a little bit Colorado too, with Dion and everything. A lot of people are there's too much hype around them.
That's more of the media though.
Yeah,
giving too much attention to Colorado just because of Prime, but Utah, their fans and administration and coaches have kind of done that to themselves, which I think it was funny. As a BYU fan, it's kind of funny seeing those other Big 12 fan pages or whatever comment wow, I'm glad we're not the only ones that sees this.
It seems like almost the Pac-12 schools were the ones that came in and kind of ruined everything. We had a tight-knit conference, and then the Pac-12 schools came in, and Arizona and Arizona State are all right. Colorado I'm fine with because we beat them in both. But those other two, those two mountain schools, I don't know.
Well, everyone else sees it, so.
Yeah. But overall, March Madness was a good tournament, I thought. Kind of weird that it was a bunch of 1 seeds in the Final Four again. First time since '08. But I think, unfortunately, that's just kind of where basketball is going now, where you're just going to see... I doubt you'll see anything higher than a 4 seed in the Final Four for the next little while until NIL stuff gets figured out to make it more even. And with the transfer portal, too. With players just being able to transfer anywhere they want, it makes it really hard for those mid-major schools to make any sort of run.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I for sure don't think any double-digit seeds would make it into the Elite Eight. I don't think. I mean, I think we might have had one this year, right? Arkansas, I think. Did Arkansas make it to the Elite Eight, or were they?
I
just
think they were
16?
Sweet 16.
Okay, then maybe no Elite Eight double-digit teams, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me take a look at the
Yeah.
bracket. I think the lowest seed in there was a 4 seed.
That's what I was thinking as well, but
Maybe it was even a 3 seed.
because let's see it might have been a 3 seed. Let's see official bracket: Elite Eight, Auburn, Michigan State. That's a 1-2. Florida, Texas Tech 1-3, Houston, Tennessee 1-2, and then Duke, Alabama 1-2. Yeah, so
Yeah.
no double digits. Sweet 16 had one double digit, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So you had 1-4-3-2 in the Midwest, 1-4-3-10 in the South, or in the West. In the South, 1-5-6-2. In the East, 1-4-6-2. So.
yeah, I find it hard to see any double-digit seeds or multiple double-digit seeds making it to the Sweet 16 at all in the future. I mean, you make a good point. Maybe even any seeds 5 or lower probably won't even make it to the Elite Eight, as we saw this year. But yeah, with NIL, like you said, the transfer portal, players are just gonna, from those small schools that might have had like a special run, are just gonna transfer because they can get more money. But
Yeah.
hopefully the NCAA or the March Madness Committee or whatever, it's not really affiliated with the NCAA, I think, but it's like whatever. It's a weird relationship, but hopefully they kind of get it down and bring back the magic, because this year was weird. It was good basketball, but just not as exciting as years past.
Yeah, I feel like because of the local ties, like with BYU being in it, I felt like that made it a lot more exciting. I think other than that, like I wasn't watching a whole lot of games. And it's nice because this is the first year that I've been able to like root for a conference with multiple teams in it since really ever, because I grew up Mountain West and we were over in the WCC, and then it was while I was on my mission that we made the transfer to the Big 12. And so it was fun for me to root for like the Big 12 teams in the tournament, but it was, kind of a lackluster, but it wasn't horrible, in my opinion. Like, it was just kind of like it was fun basketball. Like, March Madness is fun, and there wasn't really anything added to the fun this year, but it's still just going to be fun no matter what.
It gave me something to look at and watch, I guess, have interest in. But yeah, nothing crazy, nothing like 2-3 seasons ago where freaking 16, 15 seeds are knocking down giants and stuff. But
like, I remember being on my mission. We just had a baptism, and so we were eating at Chili's that night. And my companion at the time is my roommate right now. He was from Connecticut, and so UConn obviously had made it, and it was UConn, Miami, and Florida Atlantic, San Diego State. I just remember like looking up at that, not having followed the tournament at all. I'm like, what in the world is going
FAU,
on?
yeah, and then it was a UConn San Diego State final. I remember that. See, the good old days. Bring it back.
I know.
Let's not get these homers in North Carolina and all the SEC teams. Let's bring back the magic.
Yeah. Yeah, wild stuff. But speaking about Magic and, exciting players, AJ just played in the All-American game. McDonald's finished with 17 points, I believe. At least 5 rebounds. I watched the game. Did you get the opportunity to watch it?
I saw clips and highlights from AJ. He looked pretty good. I mean, he was the second leading scorer in the game behind the Kansas commit.
Darren Peterson?
Yeah, by 1 point. So, I mean, and of course, those are the top 2 guys in the class in the nation. So, it was good watch from the highlights that I saw.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good game. I watched it with my roommate, and we were just kind of sitting there. And I mean, it's an all-star game, so not a whole lot of defense is being played, but seemed like AJ just wasn't getting the ball a whole lot because he's not a super selfish player where he needs the ball in his hands the entire time. I think the team is better when that happens, and BYU will definitely be better when that happens next year. But I think he played well. Darren Peterson got the ball a lot more than AJ did. So I think just looking at everything, I'm pleased with how he played, and thought it was a fun game to watch.
No, I mean, yeah, like I said, the highlights looked good, get me excited for next season already. I don't know what I'm going to be more excited for, football season or basketball season. So
both schools finished ranked 13th in the final AP poll.
I saw that. I was like, what are the odds? I'm like, I wonder if there's like some sort of, we'll just put them at 13th like we did with football, but
one of 2 teams in the top 15 in both.
Mm-hmm. I can't. I swear I saw some team that was ranked above BYU that I thought, why?
Kentucky.
Well, some might.
One spot ahead of us.
Some people
really?
might have. Some people might have reasoning behind that, but well, I guess the more I look at it, maybe the less I question. I was gonna say, because I don't know if this last roll of the AP rankings take into account March Madness. I would assume they do.
I think it does, yeah, because this is the final one.
Okay. I mean, I guess I can't really complain too much. Maybe St. John's at 11 may be a question mark to some people, but yeah, the more I look at it, maybe I don't have too many complaints. I'd want BYU above Kentucky, but that's my only my only take on that. But no, 13th in both sports is great.
Yeah, and I think it's fun to see BYU just where they're at now, where it's coming off a national championship in women's cross country, men's cross country. You know, top 15 finish in football, top 15 finish in basketball. You have a swimmer who took second in the nation. You have a gymnast going to the NCAA championships. You have like volleyball playing well. Volleyball made the tournament. Soccer made the tournament. You know, albeit those 2 lost in the first round, but this is like, it's a new era of BYU athletics. And even with that, like, there's players going pro now.
No, for real. I mean, we were talking before we hit record, but we both thought Jaeger was going to make a decision over the other, but the news kind of got leaked about an hour and a half before, which when I saw that, I was like, gosh dang it, but that at the same time, I feel like maybe Jaeger would have said something or had reacted to one of the comments, so I was like, maybe cross my fingers that it might be false info, false reporting, but no, at 10 a.m. he got on a press conference with KY, and I can't remember who was...
Travis Hansen.
Travis Hansen? Okay. Makes sense. To announce that he's going to the NBA, or at least he said put his name into the draft, which I mean, you can pull your name out at a certain date, so... Yeah,
he said he was on Sports Nation afterwards. I was working the show today, and so it was that hour and a half before the show started sucked, because it's like, well, we have everything in that we need to. Now we're just waiting for him, and there's no anticipation of whether he's staying or going or not.
Yeah.
But he went on Sports Nation afterwards, and they asked him, like, hey, you know, are you, like, locked into the draft, or, you know, do you have a chance of coming back? And he's like, no, I'm all in the draft.
Okay.
Which... ultimately, like, at first I was like, gosh dang it, like, I was really thinking he was going to stay. But then I thought back to, like, the beginning of the year, when it's like, there's no chance he would have stayed another year. But just to see how much BYU affected him and the fan base and the other students and his teammates, he was always big on, like, shouting out even, like, the people who don't get a lot of notice, like the managers and the nutrition staff and all that stuff. Like, Jaeger, I think, will become such a great ambassador for BYU and what it can do as he transitions into the NBA.
No, you said it perfectly. I think he is all about BYU, and from bits and pieces of that press conference, it genuinely sounded like a tough decision for him.
Yeah.
To stay or go. my initial thoughts were obviously from a main BYU basketball fan over NBA. Like, gosh dang it! Like, next year would have been amazing. Like, for sure, Final Four. For sure, at least Elite Eight, pushing for Final Four and national championship. Like, there's no doubt. And I wonder if the odds will shift now that Jaeger is gone. Because before he made his announcement, BYU had like the 5th best odds to win the national championship next season. I mean, it was like 10 minutes after Florida had lifted the trophy, so you can't really take that seriously. But I then started to reflect on it and think the beginning of the season for Jaeger was amazing. I mean, he showed out and proved like, hey, like I'm that superstar, like crazy athletic, talented, like has great vision player that was promised. And then he kind of started to slip a little bit into the mid-season, dragging into the final, like last half of the season. But then including the 3 tournament games and the whole Big 12 tournament and then like the last 3 regular season games, he was on fire. I think he had hit his groove and showed that he is out playing the college levels. And obviously, I think you and I would both agree that the tournament boosted his NBA draft stock immensely. So I am assuming him and Kevin have talked to scouts, or Kevin at least, KY has at least talked to scouts and his connections in the league still, and asked like where he stands on GM's kind of radar, like where they would want to, if they would land him in a certain spot, which I think if he hadn't been projected like top 15, he was going to come back, which I think in the latest mock draft, he's like 12th or something, or like 13th, around
12th
there.
in ESPN.
Yeah, which if that lands true, then go. Because, one, you don't know what's going to happen next year, so if you're going to be in the top 15 of a lottery pick in the NBA, you got to take it. I feel like you got to go with it, unless you're Bronny James, and then your dad's going to get you drafted in the league. But that's another conversation. But
yeah,
I think it's a great decision for him and smart on his part, and he's looking out for his future. So
yeah, I really love like I was saying earlier, they had him on Sports Nation afterwards, and it was such an incredible interview. Like my role on the show today was just to like get like highlight packages and B-roll stuff on the show, and like I was saying, like, hey, we got this video, but it's like we're not going to use these just because like the interview was so just heartfelt and so good that we didn't want to detract from it. And one of my favorite parts was he mentioned that he's going to carry BYU wherever he goes. Like he's always going to rep the Y. He's always going to show up and show out. Like, he's still got a girlfriend that's at BYU who just announced she's coming back for another year. Right? He's going to be at games next year, he said. But the biggest thing was he mentioned that he's going to finish his degree here, which I thought was really cool. Like, he's not just the one and done that's like, okay, now I played my year of college, so now I can go to the NBA. It's, no, like, I love the environment here. Like, I want to be back here and make sure that I'm, on campus, whether it's, on campus or online. He finishes his degree here, which I thought was really cool. And I think Jaeger just is the perfect embodiment of what it means to be a BYU student. He's talked about his faith and how his faith has propelled him throughout his career. He's talked about how much he loves BYU, loves the teammates, loves just the culture. The first shout out in the press conference was to President Reese, just for the culture that is there at BYU. He was at General Conference over the weekend. He said he took down some notes of things he wanted to apply from it. And so I think it's just so cool just to see what Jaegor's been able to bring to BYU and also what he's taking away from BYU. And honestly, we talked about it a little bit over text, but it's going to get us watching the NBA a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Wherever he lands, I think I'm buying a Jaeger jersey.
I think so. I think I have too.
First ever non-Jazz and Celtic jersey I will buy. So, hopefully he doesn't turn into like a Greg Oden, and we see him strolling around campus like sad and depressed, and you have grandmas asking if he played basketball, and he breaks down in tears. But
Yeah, I don't think he will. I think Jaeger is going to be a really good fit in the NBA. His passing is incredible.
oh yeah,
I think his shooting, Kevin Young said today, like his shooting is going to be a lot better in the NBA just because he won't be the star of the team, so people aren't going to be focused on him. And the defense that's played in the Big 12 is the toughest defense in the entire world, in my opinion.
yeah.
It's so tough. It's not like that in the NBA. It's not like that in high school. It's not like that in AAU or any of that stuff. And so, like, EuroLeague can compete maybe a little bit, but not a whole lot. We saw how Jaeger struggled to adjust to playing in the Big 12. That's kind of where he kind of hit the wall for a little bit. But I'm excited to see what he does in the NBA. I think he scores a lot more than he does right now. I think his assists will be great. I'd love to see him go to the Jazz. If he falls down to like number 20 or whatever, if that ends up happening, I'd love to see the Jazz take Cooper Flag 1 and Jaeger at 20.
And I mean, they have draft freaking stock where they could even, if they really wanted him, just give some assets and move up to pick whoever they wanted in that middle tier of the lottery.
And like, I would love to see Jaeger on the Jazz. Like my favorite player growing up was always Andrei Karolinko.
Same.
I wanted to serve my mission in Russia. I wanted to like that. That's how much I loved Karolinko. Like my first ever like NBA thing that I wore was an Andrei Karolinko shirt, and so it's fun to have that connection, like the Russian connection. I want him to go to the Jazz, but I don't think the Jazz will draft him because they have Isaiah Collier. Like that's what Jaegor's stock is he's going to be such a great passer. He's going to get assists. But where Isaiah Collier plays the same position as him, albeit he is smaller, I think Jaeger wouldn't be the best fit on the Jazz just because Isaiah Collier is going to lead rookies in assists, and they don't need another person like that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to pull up the mock draft because I can't remember where he's projected. I know the 12th pick, but I can't remember who they think is going to
Chicago.
Chicago. I don't know if I want to buy a Chicago jersey.
Because I've seen Bleacher Report I think has him going 14 to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
I know there's
ESPN
5.
has the Mavs at 13, so I guess depending on how the lottery works. The lottery is the first 15 picks or
14.
14 picks? Okay. So Atlanta, Dallas, Chicago, and Miami are in that 14 to 11 range, which I think is probably where he would land.
Yeah. I could see him going to Miami.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. I'd buy a Miami Vice.
I do in Miami. Orlando's a little bit down. I'd do an Orlando jersey. I love especially those throwbacks.
Those are good jerseys.
Give me a Jaeger Orlando Magic jersey.
Now I'm curious. So who are those, like, who are the lottery teams going to be? Like, where could Jaeger realistically land?
Realistically, looking at... So, I think the top 4 picks, I think, are cemented in. I think you got Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey, and then VJ Edgecombe. I think those are cemented top 4 picks. And then after that, it's just kind of here or there, whoever the teams need, I guess.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if... who's the... Derek Queen. I wouldn't be surprised if Derek Queen rose up higher up, like into the top 5. Because right now ESPN has him at 11. So I wouldn't be surprised if Derek Queen jumped up there. But which is surprising because then Jaeger is right below him at 12 in this projection. So who knows? Maybe he lands into the top 10. That would be crazy.
That would be sweet.
There's obviously some guys on here that their teams didn't make the tournament, which, I mean, if you think you're a star player, like Cooper Flag led... I'll say basically led that Duke team to the Final Four, led them to a championship run. I mean, obviously you had Knoppel or however you say his name next to him, but I mean, it was basically Cooper Flag. So it's crazy to think that some of these guys, like the Ace Bailey, and Dylan Harper's of Rutgers, who Rutgers is not good as a team as a whole. Hasn't made the tournament in I don't know how many years, but
Yeah.
which is kind of weird because they've had some top like lottery picks the past couple of years, which is kind of weird to think about. But anyway,
I'm looking at just like the reverse standings for the NBA right now. So Jazz, Washington, Charlotte, New Orleans, and Philly are the top 5, and it's looking like that's probably where it's going to be at. I didn't realize that the Sixers have lost their last 12 games.
yeah, I didn't realize it. I can't remember. I can't because I thought there was some sort of news with Embiid, and
I think he's out for the year.
Yeah, I can't. I think it might just be one of those tanking situations.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like anything serious, but I think they also, and Tyrese Maxey he's gonna rest the rest of the season out, which
Yeah.
with the crap. At least the Jazz are like, oh, injury report is out.
Oh,
Everyone's injured. Yeah,
Marketing's
Sixers
out
are
for
just
the rest of the year. Dang it.
Sixers. Yeah, Maxey's tired. He needs to
Yeah.
rest the rest of the season. So.
Jazz are 16-63.
God.
So bad.
I
We better
knew
get Cooper Flag out of this.
I knew they had won at least 15 games. I think they had hit that mark a couple losses ago, but this is the worst season in Jazz history.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Dang. That's wild.
But
But
at
if
least the most losses, which I mean that I guess would contribute to the worst season ever. But
Yeah. So here's kind of like from picks 8 to 24, which is where I could see Yegor falling. Of note, the Nets have 4 first-round draft picks this year. So I could see him going to Brooklyn.
jeez.
But so San Antonio at 8, Portland at 9, Houston at 10, Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat are both tied at 11, Dallas at 13, Hawks at 14, Spurs at 15. So the Spurs could have 2 top 15 picks. Orlando at 16, Minnesota at 17, Brooklyn again at 18, the Jazz at 19, Miami at 20, Thunder at 21, and then 22 through 25 are Orlando, Washington, Atlanta, Indiana, and Brooklyn. So, right now I'm just basing this off of what jersey I'd want to buy the most.
Yeah.
And I feel like Miami would be a cool jersey. I just don't want a red. Like,
You don't want red, but you'll take a Miami jersey?
I don't want. Well, I'm gonna buy like the Vice, like the Miami.
Oh,
Vice jersey.
okay. Okay, yeah.
And
Okay.
so that's what makes it tough. It's like, because I just don't like wearing red.
Well,
just-
you got 3 of the potential.
Yeah, you got
well,
Rockets, Chicago,
four.
Atlanta.
Atlanta, yeah. Chicago, Miami, Houston, maybe even Portland if he goes up into the single digits.
I'll probably buy like a white jersey of whatever team it is, just so because like in the Rock you wear white at basketball games. That'll probably be like my
Yeah.
jersey that I'll wear to the games. But
Better hope for Mavs maybe if out of all those.
I don't know.
But
if
they
I
don't
want him
even
in
need. They don't even. I don't like.
Nico Harrison.
I don't like Nico Harrison. I also, I don't like Kyrie all that much
Yeah.
either. But I mean, Mark Cuban is also kind of a. I don't like Mark Cuban. either,
He's
but-
interesting. But on that note of a player going to a new team, in our script you have Rob Wright written
Mhm.
down, and I didn't know anything was happening with that, and so I googled his name, and the latest tweet from Grayson Grundhofer, a source close to the situation,
I was
tells me
going to
that
say
Rob
reliable
Wright to
source right
BYU
there.
is a done deal, and the NIL amount is $3.5 million.
So it's done. Like he's for sure committed. Because at first it was like a it was like in the talks, I guess, like the Jaeger situation, I guess, but it's for sure.
Well, that's just what this guy has said. He's like a Baylor beat writer.
Okay.
So I don't think it's like it hasn't been announced by anyone else.
Obviously not by the school. I mean,
Yeah, but see, I've seen people like, oh, what the heck is he doing? Like, he like BYU spending so much money for this guy. But my thought is like that's the money they had reserved for Jaeger, and
Oh,
so now
probably,
they're
yeah.
just putting it at a new guy.
which I'm hoping he turns out. It looks like, I mean, I think he dropped like 20 or something points on us.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes of the game against us, he scored 14 points.
14 was it? Okay. I mean, let's see. Where is? It doesn't have his average for points in the season. Gosh, I can't see his average for some reason, but oh gosh, Baylor's website is freaking out on me. Trying to see if this, because all I saw was the tweet. I don't know.
I mean, it's looking like, oh, I didn't realize he went to Montverde, so he played with Cooper Flagg in high school.
Yeah, I did see that. That was one thing I didn't know. For 2 seasons, I don't even know the percentage on that, or points per game. It's probably low. It's probably like maybe 8 points per game is probably the average, I guess, which isn't terrible. Point guard, right? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll need to, I guess, do some digging on if this guy's the real deal or not. But hopefully, that's our guy that we want.
Yeah, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, the top point guard. So, or this might be transfer portal rankings.
I think he was a 4-star coming out of high school. I think
Okay.
I saw that, and it bumped up to a 5-star in the transfer portal.
So yeah, he was ranked 23rd nationally in the recruiting class. Jaeger was ranked 16th. So
Okay.
he was the top point guard coming out last year. Yeah, I really.
So he played in 35, which I think. Wait, games played, yeah. Wait, no. There aren't 35 games in a season. Maybe that's total. I don't know. Averaging. I don't know if that's 29.4 points a game. I don't think so, because I don't think he was their starting point guard, was he?
He was.
He was? Okay,
Mhm.
so maybe...
He was all
I
Big 12 honorable mention.
Okay, then that can't be the right stat I'm looking at then. I might
He
need
averaged
to-
12 points per game and 4 assists per game on the year. So
Okay, yeah. Anyone listening, do not trust Baylor men's basketball stat tracker because it's saying he's averaging 29.4 points last season, and that is obviously not even close. So that's like Naismith level. But I mean, 12 points a game, that's not bad. I mean, Jaeger averaged less than that, I think.
yeah,
But hey, that's exciting. That's exciting news. That I don't know if that's a good trade-off, but we'll see. We'll see.
I like it. So
In terms of a scoring standpoint, it sounds like it's a little better. What?
Yeah.
How many assists did he average
4
last season?
a game.
4.
Yeah,
Okay. That might be a little less, or probably around where
I think
Jaeger
if I'm not
was.
mistaken, he was on the All Big 12 freshman team.
Jaeger averaged 5.5 assists this last season. So this guy might be a good replacement then. I'll take back my skepticism.
Yeah, so along with he was on the all freshman team with Jaeger. Looking like he might be the only player on the all-freshman team staying in the Big 12 because Jaden Quaintance from Arizona State's going to Kentucky. Edgecombe's going to the draft. Jaegor's going to the draft. I don't know about this Christian Anderson guy from Texas Tech. He might be staying another year, but
Yeah, he might be staying. I know there was a...
yep, he's staying another year. So,
Yeah.
but exciting time.
That's a good pickup. Good pickup.
Yeah,
I knew...
I like it a lot.
Who was it? My brother wanted him to come over to BYU, so KJ Lewis. I think he was on Arizona, I think.
Yeah.
No,
Is he in the portal?
He was in the portal, but he just committed to Georgetown. So
Georgetown.
yeah.
Interesting.
So, I mean, Georgetown, who they used to be, but I like Georgetown. I like the school. Maybe they're trying to build something. I think they have a potential lottery pick this season. Potential lottery pick in the draft, but hey.
It'll be interesting for sure. But, yeah, lots going on in the college basketball world. Season's over,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean that there's not anything to talk about.
No, if anything, it's just starting. 2025-26 season has just begun.
Yeah. If we want to stay on basketball real quick, Delaney Gibb announced she's staying, which is huge for BYU. I was hoping that could convince Jaegor to stay, but...
He said no, so...
yeah.
He took that love and threw it on his ping pong ball for the draft lottery.
Hey, he's got to get money to buy the ring somehow.
That's true. He's already got that money, so
Yeah,
we all know that.
How about Jaegor, though? The trilingual press conference today. Russian, Spanish, and English.
That's crazy. I can't do that, so...
I cannot either. I can barely speak English.
That's as everyone knows, that is the same for me. So
All right. Where do you want to take this next? I mean, there's a couple points left still in like women's basketball area, or we could just kind of move on.
I mean,
UConn won.
Yeah, UConn won. Good for them. I mean, what title number is that for Gino?
I think it's
UConn?
7.
The only thing that shocked me was how bad they beat South Carolina. I mean, that was the only thing that really surprised me. I mean, good on UConn because I can't stand South Carolina and what's her name? What's her bucket?
Oh, Dawn Staley.
Dawn Staley. Yeah, I can't stand her. So good on UConn.
So I misspoke.
That covers that.
Gino has 12.
12? Okay, yeah, that's about double than what we thought.
Yeah.
Almost. So
He's made 23 Final Four appearances, 1,250 all-time wins. That's insane.
he's up there. I mean,
I think he's the
for
greatest
sure the
basketball
greatest
coach.
women's basketball coach of all time. I think, debate with Wooden and Coach K for
I
greatest
forgot about Wooden.
basketball coach of all time.
Yeah.
I think Wooden's top of the list. He's fighting with Coach K for number 2.
I like that. That's a good reference point.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about Wooden.
How dare you?
My bad.
Do you not have the triangle of success or whatever it's called hung up in your apartment?
I do not. I do have a triangle, but it's a yield sign. So.
Well, I don't either because I cannot name it correctly, whatever it's called. So
Yeah. Cougars had a lot of success though with baseball. Absolutely whooped Utah Tech 19-1, and they head to the school up north, the Old Bees ballpark, to take Utah on this weekend. So
that's probably going to just permanently be Utah because I knew they were originally sharing it with. Oh no, because they're building a new facility, are
Yep.
they not? Yeah, I forgot they announced that. But no, that 19-1 win though against Tech, that was big because they lost the first game, I know for sure.
Mhm.
Was that
Yeah.
the second game?
So
Was it a 3-game series?
No, it was just a one game. They came here a couple weeks ago, beat us like 10-1, and so it was good to
Go down there and
go down there and show them who's boss.
like, hey,
Go down to that team down south.
We're the real D1 team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
but
team. Yeah.
team down south, Utah Tech. But more exciting news as we kind of round out BYU stuff. Brock Harris commits. I was amped about that. I was
That's
watching
huge.
that in my class instead of paying attention to what we were supposed to do for our final. But that's okay.
Hey, that's fine. I think
More
your
priorities.
professor will understand. Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. My favorite part about it though was I was watching on his Instagram, and one of the first comments on there was Ryder Lyons. Before he'd even announced where he was going, Ryder said, "I know where he's going. He told me." So
Okay.
throwing it out there, Ryder Lyons will be coming to BYU and will be the
What you were about to say something with a G. What were you gonna say there?
greatest recruit in BYU history.
Okay,
And he will.
okay.
Like, we don't have any recruits
I mean,
to that.
Brock Harris is already the best recruit for BYU. I think since the I saw a post about it. He's the highest recruit for BYU football since like recruiting.
I think he was
tracking.
the third.
Third.
I
Oh,
think
maybe that's
Tanner
what it
Ma-
was.
Tanner Mangum was a really high recruit.
You're right.
Um,
I'm mistaken. That's what it was.
Ross
Third.
Oppa might have been the other one.
No, it was some other quarterback. I think.
Maybe
I
it was
want to
Max
say.
Heaps. Or Jake Heaps, I mean. Whatever one it was, they're pretty good.
I know who you're talking about.
I think it is Jake Heaps. He was a 90.
All time, Ben Olsen, Ofo Moahatoa in 2003. Ben Olsen was in 2002. He later transferred to UCLA, and then Ofa Mohetawa transferred to Texas Tech, and then there's Brock Harris.
Okay.
Jake Heaps was a little lower on the, only by 0.2 in the ratings. He is the highest recruit in terms of like the gap of years. The closest to him was Tanner Mangum in 2012. That's the highest or closest in terms of years, I guess. Which I don't know how I'm trying to say that, if you understand what I'm saying, but.
Yeah, no, I get you.
But no,
It's-
that's huge. That's what I was going to ask leading into this point was how his commitment, I guess, affects the other commitments. Because I know we have a D lineman out of Arkansas who has put us in his top 3. I forgot
Ooh.
his name. He's 4-star D lineman, which is huge. It's BYU, Arkansas, and... can't remember the third school. I think Oklahoma.
Okay.
And then obviously Ryder Lyons, #1 quarterback in the nation. He's got it down to 7 schools, I think, right? Or is it less than that now?
I don't know if he's narrowed it down at all.
He also announce when he'll be making his recruitment?
He has not announced it yet.
Oh, I thought maybe it was just a rumor as to when. I think the rumor was like in May sometime. I think is when I saw
Okay.
it, but no, I don't think he's narrowed anything down. All I see is just the amount of offers he has,
Yeah.
which consists of just to name a couple: Ohio State, Alabama, USC, Florida, LSU, Washington, Louisville, Auburn, Notre Dame, Florida State, Utah, Washington State, Ole Miss, Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, A&M. I mean, the big powerhouse in Sacramento State.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the reason they're on there, like, it's like a 10-minute drive from his high school.
yeah,
so.
yeah. I think that was the first visit he did was Sac State but I think they just recently went up to FBS.
They're trying to.
They're trying to. Okay, there's one school I think that just moved up to FBS though. I can't remember
Really?
who, but Montana State. I think
Really?
was it Montana State?
I did not hear about that.
Is this other news that we should put on there? Unless I'm just totally making stuff up. I might be making it might be next, like not this upcoming season, but the following maybe, but I might have just totally spewed something that is not true.
I was going to
Maybe
say, I did not hear anything about
I
that.
I thought I saw something, but I could be totally wrong. I might have just gave false hope to some Montana State fan, but I thought I saw that. I will do a deep dive because I could have sworn I saw something referencing that. But anyway, I think it might have been was it a rumor of them possibly joining the Mountain West? Maybe that's what it was.
Okay.
I think that might have been it. Who knows? I'm tired. It was a long day at work today. So
You just got a new job, right?
yeah, I did. Yeah,
What are you doing now?
I'm spraying lawns.
Ooh,
Work for a
fun.
pest company, so
Oh,
it's
cool.
actually not bad. 8 minutes away from my house, so it's
Oh, you don't have to drive up to Park City anymore?
oh, it's so nice, so nice. Job's really chill, relaxed. I mean, I get to work out basically out in the sun, but no, it's good. But the sun is getting to me because I thought Montana State was FBS now, so. But no, I think Brock Harris will be huge. You think that gets Ryder to BYU?
They're good friends. I mean, they're both Mission First kids, so it won't be till 2028 that we get to
Oh,
see
really?
them play.
Okay.
But it'll be fun.
Yeah, I can't. Who are some of the other big? I feel like BYU's had some other like high star recruits have them on their list. I think a couple. I want to say a couple receivers potentially. Weren't there some buddies of Riders that I went to high school with that have them on there?
I don't know. Like, I haven't kept up with that too much.
Maybe we'll need to do a deeper dive into BYU recruitment for next episode, but
Yeah.
no. Brock Harris is a huge commit. That's exciting. I saw a post from Isaac Rex calling him the next BYU tight end great, which is great to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that as well. I thought that was pretty cool. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on with that?
No, I think that kind of sums BYU and recruitment, transfer portal stuff. I think spring ball wrapped up recently, did it not? Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
it's done with that, so.
now we're in that painful limbo period where we're waiting for just practices to start for the season.
Yep. 144. That's how many days till Portland State.
Let's go.
Some quick hitters before we get to the MLB. Alexander Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's record over the weekend. Where does he stand in our NHL GOAT talk, in your opinion?
He's the greatest goal scorer of all
I agree.
time. I'll put that up there. I don't think he's the greatest player. I think that is solely reserved for Gretzky. There are arguments for what is his name?
Gordie Howe?
I think so. Yes, Gordie Howe. He's up there for potential GOATs, which it's crazy because they did an interview with Gretzky before Ovechkin breaking his record, and I guess there's an interview when Gretzky was about to break Gordie Howe's record for points or for goals. I think Gordie Howe had the points record because I think Ovechkin has the points record. I don't think that's going to ever be touched. I
You
can't
mean
remember.
Gretzky has the points
Gretzky,
record?
yeah.
Yeah.
Who'd I say? What? So I think Gretzky's points records will never be touched, which I think that's what solidifies him as the GOAT. But Gretzky was going to break Gordie Howe's record, and they were talking to him like, hey, how do you feel? Like, this is like a huge milestone in your career. Like, you're going to be one of the greatest to ever like play the game of hockey. And he was like embarrassed to answer and to, I guess, take that record because, one, he didn't see himself as that big of a player, but two, he like looked up to Gordie Howe. I guess that was like his guy. So I wonder, and I don't know if Ovechkin has touched on it at all, but I wonder if Ovechkin has had similar thoughts on it. But based on his celebration and swan diving onto the ice after his goal, I don't know if he has that quite same feelings as Gretzky did. But no, I think he's the greatest goal scorer, but Gretzky is still the greatest player of all time.
He is the great one.
He is the great one. That's the. Is that the greatest nickname, like sports nickname?
That's pretty
of all
good.
time. Like that, I don't think that can ever be beat. The great one. That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that, and then sticking with sports played with sticks, Masters this weekend.
Yeah, Masters starts tomorrow. I'm excited. Technically,
I think
par 3.
I think the par 3 course is tomorrow, which is always pretty fun.
Par 3. Yeah. First round is on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday. Yeah. I don't know if you're a big golf guy. Are you, Cam? I don't know if we've ever talked golf.
I'm pretty big
before.
into it. My dad and his brothers all played in high school. My uncle won the state tournament, I think in 1990. He played golf with you for a little bit, so that was kind of cool. So, my family, we dabble.
We dabble. Okay, yeah. No, I just want to ask a couple thoughts. One, I don't know if you've looked at the who has put their name into the Masters, or I guess who's playing. Mm-hmm. But as in, from who you know, the favorite, who you think is going to win. The favorite right now is Schefter, which is, I think, a very obvious choice. I mean, Schefter's been absolutely dominant for the last 2 years. Ever since he won the Masters, he has not been able to stop winning. I will say this. Tony Finau, local, Ty. This is his 7th Masters appearance.
Okay.
7th Masters appearance. He's never missed the cut.
Interesting.
The last 3 tournaments, he has not broken into the top 20. But before that, his last 4 appearances, he was top 10 in 3 of those 4.
Okay.
So, 1, who do you think is going to win? 2, where does Finau place?
I think Finau,
or does he make the cut?
Finishes tied for 18th. And I think the winner is Colin Morikawa.
Morikawa, okay. He won... When did Morikawa win?
I think he won the U.S. Open a couple years ago.
Oh, maybe he almost won.
Maybe it was the Players or something like that.
Was it? No, I thought... Did he not? I thought he's won a Masters. No? Am I wrong?
I don't think he has.
Let me look. I could have sworn he's won a Masters. Maybe not. I think he might have come close. I think he might have been the one chasing Schefter.
Okay.
Or Rahm the last 2, maybe? Or who won in 24? Was it Schefter?
Schefter
was
won
it Scotty?
last year.
Yeah, it was last year? Okay. So, Morikawa chased one of the last 3, I think. I think he was up there with the last 3 winners. But I like that pick. I don't mind it. He has the 3rd best odds. I think Tony will get into the top 20 for sure. He'll make the cut, obviously. I think he'll for sure finish the top 20. I want to say within the top 15. I want to say 13th. I
Okay.
think he just misses outside the top 10. Which, if he finishes top 10, that'd be crazy. For half his finishes, 8 straight, half of them have been top 10 finishes.
Yeah. I'm rooting for Mike Weir all the way. Former
Mike
BYU
Weir?
golfer, former BYU.
Is
former
he on
Masters
the
champ.
is he on the line?
I don't think so. He's one of like the old guys that because he won
He can
a while ago, he can
yeah.
always come back and play. So I think
Is Tiger playing this year?
Tiger's not playing. He's hurt.
No, okay. I remember he played last year and he shouldn't. I don't think he even made. No, he did make Sunday, but he did make the cut. But I think he finished like almost dead last. I wanna say Roy gets his green coat that he's
I hope
deserved,
so. Green jacket. Yeah.
but at the jacket, but at the same time,
I mean,
he
that's
hasn't had
only
the
one he
best
has
of
left.
luck. Yeah, that really is the last thing he has left. There's always some guy that I have never heard of that always like trickles his way into competing on Sunday. I'm not gonna pick a random name because I don't think a rando is gonna make it or win it. So I'm gonna just say Schefter. I think he wins it 2 in a row, which I don't know how many guys have won 2 Masters in a row. But
3 players: Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods.
Tiger. Okay, I was gonna say I feel like Jack Nicklaus was a good guess, and Tiger, but no, that's elite company. I think he's already considered to be one of the greatest golfers, so that would for sure make that statement true. But no,
Yeah.
I'll say Scheffler for back to back.
All right. Bold prediction.
That's all I'm good for on this show is making those crazy bold predictions.
I like it. Yeah, I honestly haven't been following golf too much lately, so my predictions are just random shots in the dark. But hey, who knows?
Hey, that's how March Madness goes. So
That's true.
we take that energy and put into that. What I meant to ask earlier. Before we head into MLB, I just want to ask, what percentile did our bracket finish in?
That's a good question.
Because I'm shocked. I don't know how well your best bracket did. My best bracket was in the 97th percentile. Top 600,000 in the country, which I don't think I've ever done that good in my life.
So if Houston would have won, I would have done a lot better. But so our bracket was 83.8% accurate. So finished top 4 million.
Okay.
Well, the final rank was 4,104,734th.
Dang.
But hey, we picked the champ. That's all that matters.
Not bad. I mean, first year.
Yeah.
We'll learn.
Yes,
But
we will.
no, let's hop back into MLB, get on track, and get some of these
do it.
topics.
Real quick, just want to shout out the Bees. Brand new stadium they're playing in tonight. They are absolutely crushing the Reno Aces. Hit a grand slam in the first inning. Scored 5 runs before an out was even recorded. So exciting stuff for the new ballpark, the Salt Lake Bees. They got new unis.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. They're still growing on me a little bit. They're up 13-5 right now in the top of the ninth. Looks like they're going to come out on top. Really good game for Zach Neto, who will be up with the Angels here soon once he finishes his rehab assignment. But Neto went 3 for 3 today with a homer, a walk. 2 for 3, a homer, a walk, a single, a strikeout.
I'm trying to look at these jerseys. You said, I see the. Is their on-field cap the freaking? It's just like a B, like it's a literal B.
Yeah.
That's kind of. I mean, that's kind of looks kind of dope. Not gonna
Is
lie,
it
that's
just like
pretty
the
nice.
bee with the bat?
No. It's like it looks like a bee. I don't know if they changed that too. I thought it was the classic bee. Like I know that logo, but the one that I'm looking at it's different. I also know they have that SL like rip off of the St. Louis.
Yeah, so that one I
Cardinals
think
logo.
is what's on their hat. Are you talking about like the one with the beehive and like the little baseball?
No, it's like it looks like it's like legit a bee, like a real bee, and like on his abdomen is like a baseball or.
Okay, yeah. I think we're looking at the
Yeah.
same one. I think that's just like
Okay.
a secondary logo, so I don't think they're putting
Okay.
that on the cap.
Well, the MILB store is throwing me off, or ad for the store is throwing me off because it's saying it's the on-field home cap. No, that's great. I need to go out to a game. I think I went to a game last season, so the last.
It's all the way
year
out
at
in
Smith's.
Daybreak now, which is
Yeah, I mean, it's a little ways away. Not really in Salt Lake anymore, I would say, but
Okay, so they do have one hat with that logo, but I don't
Yeah.
know how often they'll wear it.
no. Okay. I mean, I feel like our hats are pretty slick. The SL is a little different now. I've
Mhm.
noticed it looks a little different.
I liked the old one. Let me grab. Yeah. Shocker, another hat change for me. Like I like the old SL. I think it fit pretty good. But
I think this one kind of gives like kind of throwback vibes.
yeah,
Like as if they were a team that was founding in like 1880, but no, I like it. And Loki, I'm kind of liking the new jerseys. I know you said you had mixed feelings. That cream one, I kind
The
of like
cream
that.
one's
The
nice.
black one's nice. I like the black one.
I don't love the script. Like I don't love the cursive. It's not my favorite. Like I
So
like
it's
the old
kinda
block.
just like they got it out of Google Docs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like the old block letters, or like the cream jersey where it says bees.
yeah.
Yeah,
That one's nice. I like that.
Like, yeah. So, it's fun. I like it. But yeah, they're playing well tonight, so they're gonna win, which is exciting. I think I might try and go to a game this weekend. Haven't decided yet. It's like $14 a ticket to sit in the outfield, so not
No,
bad.
not bad. That might be a little more than it was at
Yeah,
Smith's.
the
But
prices did go up a little bit.
I've heard it. I haven't even seen. I don't think I've seen pictures of it, but I've heard it's like super, like, major league like standards almost.
Yeah, it's super nice. They brought down the size, so there's not as many seats anymore, just because they were never filling the stadium. But it's super nice. They got a new scoreboard out in left field. They don't have the bullpens on the sides anymore, which I always liked. I thought it was kind of fun. But
Yeah.
speaking about like bullpens and where they are located, Zach Campbell. Can we just talk about that for a minute? I was like
Okay.
almost fan interference, so I'm like watching this replay. I'm like, oh, okay, this will be interesting. And I'm like, wait a minute, is that Zach Campbell?
So you didn't, because there's no mention of him unless you go like on Twitter, and of course those Zach Campbell like freaking haters and
Mhm.
the crybabies that hate him, like of course are blowing up and calling for his head in the MLB to ban him from all games. Which, I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch, but I know there's a lot of people that just hate.
I think there
his
should be some
guts.
sort of repercussion.
Uh-huh. I can't. There. What was there's the famous fan interference for the Cubs.
Oh yeah,
And was it in the
it was an 03.
03? Was it to go to the World Series or was
Mhm.
it in the no, it was okay. I can't remember. Did that guy get banned from a couple games? I can't remember. Oh, here we go.
There you can see him.
Which there's another angle of that catch. It's kind of more. Yeah, here, this angle.
It's like he goes. Yeah.
I mean, do you think he'd make that catch? From that angle, it's tough to tell if he would have made it, the catch or not. I think he probably would have. It seems he timed it pretty well.
I think it would have been close for sure. It's unfortunate though because that was a 2-run homer and they ended up losing by 1. So could have changed the game, but I'm happy it didn't.
And didn't the Rays, they challenged for fan interference, and they didn't, and the umps, they reviewed it and called nothing, right?
I think it's I think if it would have been called the other way, that it was fan interference, I think they wouldn't have overturned it. So
that's so funny. That was Zach Campbell, though.
Yeah, I saw.
It's almost like he's. I mean, if you've ever watched any of his videos, there. And the more I think about it, I might be getting on that train of thinking he is a weirdo. But in terms of why are you doing this? Because he'll buy multiple tickets for a game, so he has a seat in those prime catching areas. It's golly, this guy. But no, when you sent me that, I was because I was just watching. I'm oh. I was confused by your text at first. I was what is he talking about? This is confusing. So I watched it. And then it was from that angle. I'm wait a minute. What? I'm this guy! It is him!
I know that guy!
I sadly know him and have watched his videos, and I'm 24 years old. But
funny stuff. Yeah, none of some actual baseball stuff. Crazy stat of the day. Guardians beat the White Sox 1-0 on a walk-off walk. So you don't see that every day. But you'd had some stuff written down in the script that you wanted to go over, and I wanted to make sure we touched that stuff.
No, I had a couple. First off, that is so what the White Sox or Guardians won that game?
Guardians won.
Guardians, okay. That makes my comment a little better. That seems like the most White Sox loss. Ever, or even if you put the A's on there, or maybe the Marlins, that is so sad. Anyway, I can't remember what day it was. It might have been last Tuesday, I think. Ohtani hit walk-off. That was electric. I mean, Ohtani is just... It doesn't seem like he's slowing down at all. I mean, it's so fun to watch him play for me. I know you have personal feelings, Cam, but...
I think it's fun to watch him play. I don't hate him for it or anything like that, so...
But every time he hits a home run, you kind of have that...
Hey, shout out to the Dodgers today, though. Lost to the Nationals, 8-2.
Okay.
So.
See, this is what I'm saying, Kim. You can't say... Shout out to the Dodgers, though. Ohtani had a big stinker today against the...
Should we look at his stat line?
Yeah.
Let's look at his stat line for today. Player of the game was James Wood.
8-2.
We got box score. Ohtani, 1 for 5
with
with 2 strikeouts.
Yep. You're yes. No, but to name another guy who hits bombs every at bat, or just about, Aaron Judge.
He's playing well.
At the time that I put this down, he was the first player since Babe Ruth to hit 5+ home runs and 15 RBIs in his first 6 games, which that's insane. And on top of that, there's a stat or a post I had seen that when he broke the AL record for home runs, at this point of the season, I think he only had 3 home runs or something like that.
Dang.
So he's on track to smash his record again. So that gets me to my question, will he break it again? Do you think he'll break his record?
I don't know.
What's the league record? I can't remember.
73 by Bonds.
73? Okay. Will he beat that? I think that's more of the question. You don't think
73 homers in 2001.
You don't think he'll beat that? I mean, well, we know why Barry has that number, but
no, I don't think so. I think pitching has got no point. Judge is an incredible hitter, but I just don't think he's capable of that many. Like I think
What-
it'll be another couple years, I think, before like we see someone even hit 65 homers. Because I mean, Judge hitting 62 is fifth best all time, and number one all time if we want to take out steroid users. So,
Well, yeah.
like, I'll give it to Judge. Like he's the best home run hitter of this generation, but I don't think he's like that far advanced. If that makes sense.
What if he gets a torpedo bat?
He says he's not going to. I was just watching an interesting video on the torpedo bat right before we started recording. So, Giancarlo Stanton said that his injury was due to some like bat modifications, and he used a torpedo bat last year.
Interesting.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, interesting. Very, very interesting.
Judge says he's not going to use it, but he's going to get like. We're saying he's never going to break Barry's record, but he's going to get like within like 12 homers or something, like 10 homers or something, and he's going to crack open the torpedo bat.
It's going to go off for like 100 homers.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. No, baseball's fun so far. Has been really fun this year. I think, from my point at least. My point. At the point of this note, Devers did get a hit. He has had multiple hits now, so hence why I'm standing here before you and alive. He broke the curse. I think he was off an RBI. I think was his first hit of the season. I can't remember.
I think so too. Yeah.
So it was a good way to get out of the stinker. I think that same game, Alex Bregman hit his first home run for the Red Sox, so that was good to see.
Bregman's starting to use the torpedo bat.
I'll be honest, I cannot tell you if he has hit one since then. I think he has, if I'm not mistaken. But no, I mean the Sox are still 500, so they're still climbing to try and get into a good groove. But it's been a fun season so far. The start of the season's been really good.
Yeah, definitely can't complain. We're on track to just have a good season all around. So torpedo bats made it fun, made it interesting. Video I was watching, if you want to watch it, the YouTube page is Baseball Doesn't Exist.
Okay.
It's a really good video. It's like 15 minutes long, so not too long. But any big bold predictions for the upcoming week?
Gosh, what's going on? What's even going on this week? I mean, we covered the Masters. I feel like the Masters is kind of the big hitter. NHL regular season, I don't think it ends this week. It ends next week for sure, I think.
Going to the game on Thursday, so that'll be fun.
Okay. I don't think... I mean, the hockey club needs an absolute gift from the hockey gods to make the playoffs. I mean, if Minnesota wins tomorrow, then they're eliminated, regardless of what they do in the future. So Minnesota needs to lose out for them to even have a chance. But they're crushing, or crushed the Kraken tonight, 7-1.
Dang.
So that was a good game. That would have been a great game to go to. 41 shots to 19 for the hockey club. Some hockey club news, I guess. Ryan Smith or SEG Entertainment dropped or broke, or I don't know what the exact ceremony or event was. I don't know if you saw it too, but it was for their
they were just like
facility.
going through the practice facility.
Yeah, looks super cool, state of the art. It's also very interesting that I read a little bit and it seemed like Ryan Smith, SEG, bought the Sandy Mall. They just bought the mall entirely,
really?
Which I didn't know that. I thought they just bought like that section, but it sounds like they bought the entire mall. But yeah, for any of you that didn't know, the practice facility for the hockey club is the old like Macy's at the Southtown Mall, which is a very, very odd place. But it looks incredible. It looks so cool.
It's going to be a fun season for the 5 games we have left. And then finally we'll no longer be Utah Hockey Club, and we can actually start calling them the Mammoth.
Right? That hasn't even been announced yet, right?
No.
That hasn't been
it
official.
Isn't my favorite name, but that's okay.
Which
I wish they were the Outlaws, but
it gets me to think as well. It gets me to think more because we had the whole voting process to begin with on just the name flat out. Yeti won anonymously, and then Yeti couldn't be the name due to trademark issues with the Yeti cooler brand, which apparently those guys are just a bunch of stick in the muds and don't like anyone to use Yeti. But then they had the voting again, which was all in person at games, which I thought that was actually cool because it allowed the, I wouldn't say true fans, because I feel like the majority of the state of Utah, whether you've like taken just even a little bit of interest, have started to love the team and get a better understanding of the game of hockey.
Yeah.
But to have those fans that actually like go to the games and stuff to cast their vote, I think was really cool. But they haven't made an announcement, and that was like a couple months ago when that when those voting stopped. And from what I heard, Mammoth I think outright won, but there has not been any announcement. So that gets me to think what else is going on.
I think they're just waiting for the season to be over because I don't think they want to announce it like mid-season. And so I bet probably come like June. Like once the season ends, I think they'll come out and announce that it's the Mammoth.
Let's hope. I mean, unless we're surprised and they work something out with Yeti. I mean, why isn't Yeti? Why don't they just make a deal and have Yeti like the official cooler for the hockey club or something? Like, come on, you can make some money here. Like, let's not be stingy. Let's share the name. But anyway, that was that on the hockey talk. But
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But really, there's not a whole lot else going on. Angels, Giants, Phillies, and Rangers, I think, are the only teams to not drop a series so far in baseball. So that's exciting stuff.
I mean, some international soccer news. I think the FA Cup is coming. It's not wrapping up because the season still has a little bit to go for the English football. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's either quarterfinals now or semis at Wembley going on. So that's some sort of exciting news. I don't know if you follow soccer as much as I do, but
not really.
No. It's a good time of year right now for soccer or football, if you want to, however you want to go about it.
Hey, I will say though, shout out to former Utah State basketball player Brick Iyer on being called to the 70 in General Conference.
Oh yeah, okay.
He also happened to be my mission president, which is why I know that stat. But
that's cool.
I was like, it's a sports reference, so
I like it. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps up everything, though.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other news.
I can't think of anything else either.
Yeah.
For next episode, I'm thinking probably Friday, I guess. Like, I think tomorrow there won't be enough stuff to come out, so we'll probably just
that's good. That works. Yeah, so we'll hit up another episode on Friday. Hopefully there'll be a good amount of news come that day, but no, it's been a good one.
Yes, it has. Alrighty, dude. I'll see you sometime soon. But before that, we'll close off the podcast. I almost just said we'll close it off with a prayer. That was weird.
We don't do that here, though.
No, not here. But I've been going through one today. It's been an interesting day. I've been up since 5, so it's been fun.
Yeah, I woke up at 6, so you beat me out by a couple, but I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you do the sign off since I started this off.
No, works out. Yeah. Follow us on YouTube, whether you're listening to YouTube now, or you can also get us on Spotify. Go over, look at the YouTube video. We'll release one on Friday, but yeah, for now, I'm Connor Kendall. That's Cameron Clark. This is the Scoreboard Sports Podcast.